My dear friends, every morning when we open our eyes, life gives us a brand new page, a blank canvas, and 24 golden hours. But here's the truth: how you spend the very first 20 minutes decides how the entire day will unfold. If your morning is scattered, the whole day feels scattered. If your morning is powerful, the whole day turns powerful. Just imagine if the first 20 minutes of your day could set your heart on fire with purpose, peace, and passion. What else could stop you from living a life of greatness? The universe, God, that higher energy we all believe in, is always whispering strength into us. But the question is, do we tune in or do we rush past it? Today, I want to share with you how just 20 minutes, not 20 hours, can completely transform the way you live your day, the way you handle challenges, and the way you connect with the divine within yourself. When you open your eyes in the morning, the very first thought that arises in your mind is like the seed from which the entire tree of your day will grow. If that seed is bitter, if it is planted in soil of complaints, frustration, or negativity, then throughout the day the branches will carry the same flavor of heaviness. But if that seed is gratitude, if it is sown with appreciation and acknowledgement of life itself, then the fruit of your entire day will be sweet, nourishing, and filled with light. That is why the very first 20 minutes of your day should begin with gratitude to God, because gratitude is not just saying thank you. It is a way of connecting your heart to the higher source that makes everything possible. Imagine for a moment waking up and immediately thinking of what is wrong in your life. You pick up your phone, scroll through social media, and compare yourself with others. You think of bills, of problems, of things you don't yet have. Instantly, the energy of your morning gets stolen, and even though the day has just begun, your heart already feels tired. Now imagine another scenario. You open your eyes, take a deep breath, place your hand on your chest, and softly whisper, "Thank you." You don't thank for something extraordinary. You thank for your breath, for your body, for the chance to live another day. You thank for the relationships you have, for the food you ate yesterday, for the simple roof above your head. And even if life has been difficult, you thank God for giving you the strength to handle it. That single thought of gratitude is like lighting a candle in a dark room. It pushes away the heaviness and fills your heart with brightness. Gratitude does not require grand possessions. In fact, the greatest gratitude often comes from the simplest things. A poor farmer who wakes up and thanks God for the sun and the soil experiences a richer happiness than a wealthy man who wakes up and thinks only about what he still lacks. The difference is not in their circumstances, but in their consciousness. Gratitude changes the lens through which you look at life. Without it, the world feels like a burden. With it, the same world feels like a blessing. When you begin your day with gratitude to God, you align yourself with the energy of abundance. Life is not about how much you have, but how much you recognize. Gratitude expands your awareness. It makes you see that you are already surrounded by gifts that millions of others are still praying for. The fact that you can see, hear, walk, breathe, and think clearly is already a treasure beyond price. Yet, in the rush of daily life, we often forget these blessings and chase after what is missing. Gratitude brings us back to the present moment, where true wealth resides. There is also a psychological truth here. When you wake up and start with gratitude, your brain releases positive chemicals, creating a state of calmness and optimism. It reduces stress and prepares you to handle challenges more gracefully. Spiritually, gratitude is like a prayer. It is the bridge between you and the divine. Every thank you whisper is like knocking gently on God's door, and every time you do so, you feel His presence more deeply. Consider a practical example. Suppose you have an important meeting or exam that day. Instead of starting with anxiety, what if I fail? What if I make a mistake? You start with gratitude. You thank God for the opportunity to learn, to show your skills, to even have the privilege of participating. Suddenly, the fear reduces and your confidence grows because gratitude transforms pressure into privilege. It reminds you that life is not happening to you, but for you. Even relationships flourish when gratitude is present. If you wake up and thank God for your family, your spouse, your children, or even your friends, you begin the day valuing them instead of taking them for granted. That energy will reflect in your words and actions throughout the day. People can feel when you value them, and that creates a circle of love that multiplies. Gratitude is contagious. It spreads positivity wherever it goes. And here's something even deeper. Gratitude is not only about thanking God for what you have, it is also about trusting Him for what you don't have yet. When you say, "Thank you for giving me strength," even though I am facing a trial, you are telling God, "I trust your plan more than my own fear." This trust becomes the foundation of peace. Because while desires may come and go, gratitude ensures that your heart remains steady. So tomorrow morning, when you wake up, resist the temptation to rush, to complain, or to compare. Instead, sit up, close your eyes for a moment, and make a mental list of 5 things you are grateful for. Whisper them softly. Let your heart feel the words, not just your lips. And watch how the energy of those first few minutes sets the tone for the hours to come. The more you practice it, the more natural it becomes. And soon you will realize that gratitude is not an act you do. It is a state you live in. Remember, the morning is like the sunrise. If the first light is bright, the whole day shines. Gratitude is that first light. Thank God for what you have, and your day will be filled with the strength to face whatever you don't. The world is filled with noise, notifications, alarms, messages, and the endless demands of people around us. From the very moment we wake up, it seems as though life is waiting to pull us into chaos. But the truth is, before the noise of the world enters, there is a sacred space, a few minutes of silence that can become the most powerful moment of your entire day. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is full of answers. When you connect with silence before the world begins to shout at you, you are not disconnecting from life. You are connecting with the deepest part of life, the part where God whispers to you. Think about it. If you wake up and immediately reach for your phone, you begin your day on someone else's terms. News headlines tell you what to worry about. Social media tells you who to compare yourself with. Messages tell you what others want from you. In all of this, where is the space for your own soul? Where is the space for God? The mind becomes like a crowded marketplace, and in that rush, you miss the most important voice, the still, small voice of the divine within. But if you choose differently, if you spend the first few minutes in silence, in meditation, or even in deep breathing, you create space for clarity, calmness, and direction. Imagine the difference between a lake that is constantly disturbed by storms and a lake that is calm in the early morning. When the surface is restless, you cannot see the reflection of the sky. But when it is still, it mirrors the heavens perfectly. The mind is like that lake. In silence, it becomes still, and in that stillness, it reflects the divine. In that state, you can hear God's guidance not through words, but through a sense of peace, intuition, and inner strength. Daily life provides many examples of the power of silence. Think about a student who wakes up before an exam. If he begins his morning panicking, checking notes frantically, or worrying about results, his mind becomes scattered. But if he spends even 10 minutes in silence, breathing deeply, calming his nerves, praying silently, he enters the exam hall with focus and clarity. The silence did not give him new knowledge, but it gave him access to his own potential. Silence unlocks what panic hides. Or imagine a parent who wakes up and immediately jumps into chores, preparing breakfast, checking emails, managing the household. By mid-morning, exhaustion has already set in. But if that same parent takes a short pause in silence before beginning the day, they gather patience, energy, and balance. They don't just react to the family's needs, they respond with calmness and love. Silence becomes the invisible strength that carries them through the noise of responsibility. Many of us think silence means doing nothing. But silence is not passive, silence is active connection. In silence, you are speaking to God without words. In silence, you are allowing the universe to refill your inner cup. When your cup is full, you can pour out love, energy, and wisdom throughout the day without feeling drained. Without silence, you are like a phone running all day on low battery, always anxious about shutting down. With silence, you begin the day fully charged. Spiritually, silence is also the place where humility grows. In silence, you realize that not everything depends on your noise, your planning, or your control. There is a higher order at work, and when you sit quietly, you feel it. You feel that life is not just about your effort, but also about God's grace. And that feeling transforms the way you live your day. Instead of pushing against the flow of life, you learn to move with it. A very practical way to experience this is to wake up, sit in a quiet corner, close your eyes, and simply watch your breath. As you inhale, thank God for the gift of life. As you exhale, release yesterday's worries. With each breath, you are not just calming your body, you are centering your soul. Even 5 minutes of this silent practice can bring more clarity than an hour of rushing. Silence is not about the length of time, it is about the depth of connection. In our noisy world, silence has become rare, but rare things are the most valuable. When you practice silence in the morning, you carry its fragrance into the rest of the day. You may walk into a busy office, but inside you remain calm. You may face arguments, but your responses come from clarity, not impulse. You may meet pressure, but your inner peace becomes unshakable. Others may wonder, how do you stay so composed? The answer lies in those few sacred moments you spent in silence before the day began. Even in relationships, silence has power. If you begin your morning in silence, you don't carry yesterday's irritation into today's conversations. You meet others with a refreshed heart, not a restless one. You listen more deeply, you speak more thoughtfully, and people feel safer around your presence. Silence doesn't only make you better, it makes everyone around you feel better too. So, when the world tells you to start your day by running, I invite you to pause. When the world tells you to begin with chaos, I invite you to begin with calm. Those minutes of silence in the morning are not wasted, they are invested. They multiply into hours of strength, clarity, and peace. In silence, you discover that the divine has been speaking all along. You just needed to listen. And once you have heard even a whisper of that voice, your entire day will move with a rhythm of harmony. No matter how much noise surrounds you, when the morning begins, it is not only the mind that needs awakening, but also the body. We often underestimate how deeply our physical state influences our emotional and spiritual state. A tired, stiff body can make even the brightest morning feel dull, while an energized, active body can make the same morning feel like a new adventure. This is why moving your body in the first minutes of the day is not just about exercise. It is about signaling to your soul that you are ready to live fully, to embrace the challenges, and to walk through the day with strength. Movement is not simply a physical act, it is a spiritual declaration that says, I am alive and I will honor this gift of life. Think of the way the sun rises. It does not rush out suddenly, it begins gently, spreading light slowly, warming the earth with grace. Similarly, when we wake up, our body needs that gentle awakening, and movement provides it. Stretching, walking, or practicing a few minutes of yoga or deep breathing brings life into the body. The blood begins to flow, the energy begins to circulate, and the heaviness of sleep dissolves into vitality. This is not about building muscles or burning calories. It is about aligning your body with the energy of life. Consider a simple example. A person wakes up and directly jumps into their day without moving their body. They sit for long hours, they carry stiffness, they feel lethargic, and by afternoon, their mind starts to lose focus. Their body whispers for attention, but they ignore it. Another person, however, begins the day with even 5 minutes of stretching or walking. Their breath becomes deeper, their shoulders relax, their posture straightens, and their mind feels sharper. The difference between the two is not just physical, it is mental and spiritual. One drags themselves through the day, while the other walks through it with energy and clarity. Movement is also a way of respecting the body God has given you. The body is not separate from your spiritual journey. It is the temple in which your spirit resides. If you neglect the temple, even the most beautiful prayers feel heavy. But when you care for it, when you move it, when you keep it active, it becomes easier to sit in meditation, easier to concentrate, and easier to experience the divine presence within. A healthy body is not just a blessing, it is also a responsibility. By moving your body every morning, you are honoring that responsibility. Even science supports this truth. Movement in the morning releases endorphins, the happy chemicals which lift your mood and reduce stress. It improves circulation, which means your brain receives more oxygen, making you alert and focused. Spiritually, this state of alertness is precious because when your mind is awake and your body is alive, your heart is more open to connect with God. Have you noticed how after a walk in the park or after some light exercise, you feel lighter not only in body but in spirit? That is because movement removes not only physical stagnation but also emotional heaviness. Life provides many illustrations of this. Picture an office worker who wakes up groggy, skips breakfast, and heads straight to work. Their energy remains low, and every small challenge feels overwhelming. Now picture another worker who wakes up, drinks water, stretches for 10 minutes, and takes a short walk while breathing fresh air. They enter the office with their head held high, a smile on their face, and their energy radiating. Which one do you think is more capable of handling stress, solving problems, and spreading positivity? It is always the one who first moved their body, because movement is preparation for life. Another example is from the life of athletes. Before they begin a match, they always warm up. They stretch, they jog, they breathe deeply. Why? Because they know that the body must be prepared before the real challenges arrive. In the same way, every day of your life is like a match, and the morning is your warm-up. If you step into the day without warming up, You will stumble when challenges arrive. But if you prepare through movement, you are already grounded, balanced, and ready. Movement does not need to be complicated. It could be as simple as standing by your window and doing gentle stretches. It could be walking barefoot on the grass, allowing the earth to recharge you. It could be dancing to uplifting music, letting your spirit flow through your body. What matters is not the style, but the sincerity with which you move. Do it with awareness. Do it with the feeling that this is your way of saying, thank you to God for giving you this body. There is also something deeply meditative about movement. When you focus on your breath as you stretch, when you feel your heartbeat during a walk, you are not just exercising, you are becoming aware of the miracle of life happening within you. Every beat of the heart, every breath in your lungs is a reminder of God's presence, sustaining you moment by moment. Moving your body allows you to tune into this miracle more consciously. So, instead of rushing into the world with stiffness and fatigue, choose to move your body with gratitude and awareness. Let your first act of the day be a gentle reminder that you are alive, that you have been given another chance to live with purpose, and that you will not waste it by dragging yourself through the hours. Move with energy, and you will live with energy. Move with awareness, and you will live with presence. Move with gratitude, and you will live with joy. The morning movement is not just about health, it is about setting the tone for your entire day. It is about telling yourself, I am awake not just in body, but in spirit, and when both your body and spirit are alive, nothing in the world can hold you back. Challenges may come, but your energy will be greater than them. Obstacles may appear, but your spirit will rise higher. That is the power of moving your body in the morning. It transforms ordinary hours into extraordinary opportunities. The mind is like fertile soil. Whatever you plant in it during the first few minutes of your day will grow throughout the hours ahead. If you plant seeds of negativity, comparison, or fear, then your day will bear the fruit of stress and dissatisfaction. But if you choose to plant seeds of wisdom, positivity, and inspiration, then the harvest of your day will be filled with clarity, confidence, and joy. This is why feeding your mind with positivity in the morning is one of the most powerful practices you can adopt. It is about choosing carefully what you allow into your consciousness before the world tries to feed you its noise. Think of it like this: when you are hungry, you wouldn't start your day by eating junk food because it will make you feel heavy and drained. Instead, you would want nourishing food that gives you strength and energy. In the same way, your mind is hungry in the morning, and whatever you feed it first becomes the energy that fuels your thoughts, emotions, and decisions. If the first thing you consume is negative news, endless notifications, or mindless scrolling on social media, then you are feeding your mind with junk. But if you begin your day by reading a few lines of uplifting wisdom, listening to inspiring talks, or repeating affirmations connected to your divine potential, then you are feeding your mind with nourishment that will carry you through the entire day. Life gives us countless examples of this. Imagine a student waking up and scrolling through their phone, seeing pictures of friends who seem happier, smarter, or more successful. Instantly, the student begins the day with a sense of lack, with feelings of inadequacy, and their confidence begins to shrink even before they face the day's tasks. But imagine the same student waking up, taking a book of wisdom, and reading even just one inspiring page. That page reminds them that life is not about comparison, but about growth, that they are capable, that every challenge is an opportunity. With that single thought, the student enters the day with courage instead of insecurity. The difference was not in the events of the day, but in the food they gave their mind in the morning. The mind, like the body, reflects what it consumes. If you put in uplifting thoughts, your speech will be kinder, your patience deeper, and your decisions wiser. If you put in harmful content, your conversations will be filled with complaints, your reactions quicker, and your peace weaker. This is why the morning is sacred. It is when the mind is most open, most impressionable. Just as a wet clay can be shaped easily, your morning mind can be shaped by whatever you place before it. Shape it with wisdom, and it will serve you faithfully. There is also a spiritual layer to this. Feeding your mind with positivity is not only about self-improvement, it is about tuning your consciousness to the divine. When you choose to focus on affirmations of peace, love, and compassion, you are aligning yourself with the qualities of God. For example, when you begin your morning by saying to yourself, "Today I will walk with patience," you are not just talking to your own mind. You are inviting the divine energy of patience to flow through you. When you say, "I am guided, I am protected," you are reminding yourself that God's hand is with you. These are not empty words. They are signals you send to your heart, and your heart responds by carrying that energy into the day. Imagine a worker who begins his day reading an inspiring story of kindness. Later in the day, when someone irritates him, instead of snapping back, he remembers the story and his response softens. His day was transformed not because the world changed, but because his morning input gave him the strength to choose differently. This is the hidden power of feeding your mind with positivity. It plants invisible tools that you will use when life tests you. Feeding your mind with positivity can take many forms. For some, it may be reading scriptures or spiritual writings that remind them of God's presence. For others, it may be listening to uplifting music or talks that awaken motivation. For others still, it may be journaling affirmations of gratitude and purpose. The form does not matter. What matters is the intention. Do it with awareness. Do it with the feeling that you are nourishing your inner world, just as you nourish your body. And here is something beautiful. When you feed your mind with positivity, you don't just keep it to yourself. Your thoughts overflow into your words, and your words influence the people around you. A parent who begins the day by listening to wisdom will speak with more patience to their children. A leader who starts the day with positive affirmations will carry encouragement into the workplace. A friend who fills their morning with gratitude will spread warmth in conversations. What you feed yourself becomes what you serve others. There will always be challenges. No amount of positivity can guarantee that life will be smooth. But what it does guarantee is that you will have the strength to handle the bumps on the road. If negativity is the fuel, you will stumble at the smallest stone. But if positivity is the fuel, even mountains will feel possible to climb. The morning input decides the quality of your inner strength. So tomorrow, when you wake up, before you let the outside world enter your inner world, ask yourself, what will I feed my mind today? Will it be doubts, comparisons, and worries? Or will it be faith, wisdom, and clarity? Choose the second, even if only for a few minutes, and you will see how the tone of your entire day shifts. The more consistent you are, the stronger this practice becomes, until positivity is no longer just something you do in the morning. It becomes who you are throughout life. The morning is not just about waking up the body, it is about awakening the mind. And when you awaken your mind with the right nourishment, you are not only ready to face the day, you are ready to transform it. Every morning when we wake up, we are quick to plan what we will do. We create to-do lists, check our calendars, and prepare for tasks, meetings, and responsibilities. But how often do we pause and ask ourselves, who do I want to be today? The truth is, life is not measured only by what we accomplish, but also by the quality of the person we are while accomplishing it. Setting a spiritual intention in the morning is like setting the direction of your inner compass. Without it, you may achieve many things but still feel empty. With it, even the simplest actions of your day become meaningful because they align with your higher purpose and with God's guidance. When you set a spiritual intention, you are not just planning your tasks, you are deciding the energy you want to carry into those tasks. For example, two people might both have to attend a difficult meeting. One goes in with the intention of defending their ego, proving others wrong, and leaving with victory. The other goes in with the intention of remaining calm, being fair, and honoring truth over pride. Outwardly, they are doing the same activity, but inwardly, their experience will be completely different. The one who carried ego into the meeting may win an argument, but lose peace. The one who carried spiritual intention into the meeting may not only contribute more effectively, but also leave with dignity and inner calm. This is the power of intention. It transforms ordinary events into spiritual opportunities. Intention is like the foundation of a building. If the foundation is weak, the structure cannot last, no matter how beautifully it is built. If the foundation is strong, the building stands firm even in storms. In the same way, when your day begins with a spiritual intention, you stand stronger against challenges because you know who you are trying to be. Life may not always go according to your plans, but if your intention is anchored in God, then you remain steady. Consider a parent beginning their day. They can approach the morning thinking, I need to get my kids ready quickly. I need to finish my work. I need to manage the house. That attitude may get things done, but it can also create irritation and stress. If instead they begin with the intention, today I will be patient and loving, then the same tasks become opportunities to live that intention. Breakfast becomes more than food. It becomes a moment to show care. Getting the kids ready becomes more than a routine. It becomes a chance to practice patience. The external actions remain the same, but the inner experience is transformed. Spiritual intention also acts like a reminder of God's presence throughout the day. When you set an intention such as, today I will walk in peace, you are essentially saying, God, I want to walk in your peace today. Guide me. Every time a situation tests you, the intention comes back to your mind, reminding you that you chose to be peaceful. Without intention, you react to situations blindly. With intention, you respond with awareness. Think of a traveler on a long journey. If they leave their house without deciding where they want to go, they may walk miles but reach nowhere. But if they decide their destination, even if the road has detours, they keep moving in the right direction. Life is that journey. Your daily intention is your destination. Without it, you wander. With it, you progress. A very simple practice is to sit quietly in the morning and ask yourself, what kind of person do I want to be today? You may choose patience, compassion, strength, humility, or gratitude. Do not make it complicated. Just one intention is enough. Write it down or say it softly with sincerity. And throughout the day, whenever challenges arise, return to it. If you chose compassion, Then, when someone irritates you, you remind yourself, I chose compassion this morning. If you chose strength, then when obstacles appear, you remind yourself, I chose strength this morning. Slowly, these choices shape not only your day, but your character. There is also a divine beauty in this practice. When you set a spiritual intention, you are offering your day to God before it even begins. You are saying, I do not know what today will bring, but I want to walk through it in alignment with you. This act of surrender opens doors that your own effort alone cannot. It makes you receptive to grace. Sometimes you may notice that situations flow more smoothly, or help arrives unexpectedly, or peace stays with you even in difficulty. That is not coincidence. That is the strength of intention combined with God's guidance. Even small acts become powerful when guided by intention. Greeting someone with kindness, working honestly, listening attentively, forgiving quickly. These may seem ordinary, but they carry divine fragrance when done consciously. Imagine a world where everyone began their day not just with tasks, but with intentions rooted in love, peace, and service. The world outside would change because the world inside each person would change first. Remember, the to-do list will always be there, filled with endless demands. But the to-be list is what gives meaning to the to-do list. Begin your mornings by deciding not only what you will do, but also who you will be. That is where true power lies. Because success is not only in what you achieve, it is in the person you become while achieving it. So tomorrow morning, when you rise, before you rush into your day, pause for a moment, close your eyes, place your hand on your heart, and ask yourself, what is my intention today? Choose it with sincerity. Offer it to God. Carry it with you like a flame. And no matter how the winds of the world blow, that flame will guide your path, lighting your day with meaning and your life with purpose. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine yourself stepping into the day ahead. See yourself walking through your responsibilities, your challenges, your conversations, and your opportunities. But this time, don't see them through the lens of fear, worry, or doubt. See them through the light of God. This is what visualization is all about. Not daydreaming, not escaping reality, but preparing your mind and heart to live the day with clarity and strength. When you visualize your day in God's light, you are programming your inner world to respond with faith instead of fear, with calm instead of chaos, with purpose instead of confusion. Think of an architect before he builds a house. He doesn't simply gather bricks and start stacking them. First, he creates a vision on paper. He sees the design clearly in his mind before it becomes reality. Similarly, life responds to the design we create in our inner world. If we wake up and immediately allow our mind to dwell on, what if things go wrong? Then the design of our day is drawn in fear. But if we spend a few minutes visualizing, how can I walk through this day with strength, kindness, and balance? Then we are creating a blueprint of success, peace, and fulfillment. Visualization in God's light means seeing yourself not alone, but guided and supported. For example, if you have a presentation, instead of imagining yourself stumbling, losing words, or being judged, visualize yourself standing with confidence, speaking with clarity, and feeling God's presence flowing through your words. This does not mean the challenges will vanish, but it means your energy will be prepared to face them with faith. The more you hold this image in your heart, the more your mind aligns with it, and the more naturally you live it out when the moment arrives. Daily life offers countless examples of how visualization shapes our reality. Think of an athlete. Before a big race, They don't just train physically, they also visualize themselves crossing the finish line, running with strength, and overcoming obstacles. This mental rehearsal gives them confidence when the actual race begins. In the same way, if we visualize our day filled with patience, peace, and divine guidance, we are rehearsing for reality. When real challenges come, they don't shake us as much because we have already walked through them mentally in a positive way. Consider a parent who knows the day will be hectic, getting kids ready, managing household chores, balancing work. If they begin the day imagining only stress, then the smallest problem will make them snap. But if they close their eyes in the morning and visualize themselves moving calmly through the routine, smiling at their children, breathing deeply when things get messy, then they are mentally preparing themselves to live that reality. The day may still be busy, but their inner world will carry the strength of the vision they planted. Spiritually, visualization is even more profound. It is not just about imagining your own strength, but about placing God's presence into your vision. When you see yourself walking into work, imagine light surrounding you. When you see yourself meeting others, imagine your words carrying compassion. When you see yourself facing difficulties, imagine God standing beside you, whispering courage into your heart. This practice transforms the ordinary into the sacred because every moment becomes an opportunity to experience divine partnership. Some may think, but what if my day doesn't go the way I visualized? That is not failure. Visualization is not about controlling outcomes. It is about preparing your inner attitude. Even if the events differ, your calmness, your faith, and your clarity remain. For example, you may visualize a smooth meeting, but encounter unexpected conflict. If you visualized yourself staying peaceful, you will handle the conflict with more grace than if you had imagined disaster from the beginning. The vision shapes you, not always the circumstances. Visualization also creates gratitude in advance. When you imagine yourself walking through the day successfully, you are already thanking God for giving you strength. You are telling life, I believe in the best possible outcome. This faith itself attracts better energy. It shifts your mind away from negativity and opens your heart to possibilities. Instead of seeing obstacles as threats, you begin to see them as stepping stones. Even the simplest daily actions can be uplifted by visualization. If you know you will drive through heavy traffic, visualize yourself sitting calmly, listening to uplifting music, using the time to reflect rather than complain. If you know you will face deadlines, visualize yourself working with focus and finishing with satisfaction rather than stress. If you know you will meet someone difficult, visualize yourself responding with patience instead of anger. These small mental rehearsals create powerful inner readiness. There is a reason why spiritual masters emphasize the power of the mind. What the mind believes strongly, the body and heart follow. Visualization is a way of guiding the mind toward alignment with God's qualities. Instead of letting fear create images of failure, you consciously create images of faith guided by divine light. Over time, this practice changes not only your mornings, but your entire outlook on life. You stop being a prisoner of what if things go wrong and become a creator of how can I bring light into whatever comes. So tomorrow morning, after gratitude, silence, movement, and intention, give yourself the gift of a few moments of visualization. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and picture your day unfolding in harmony. See yourself smiling, calm, and strong. See yourself guided by God in every action. Let that vision settle in your heart like a seed. And when you step out into the world, you will notice how much lighter, clearer, and stronger you feel. Because once you have walked through your day in God's light within, no outer darkness can overpower